In the world of professional sports, there is no arena more dangerous than the boxing ring. Fighters can suffer all of the usual burdens of a life of competition, humiliation, failure, and financial ruin, plus the added bonus of broken noses and brain damage. So it's no wonder that the stars of the sport are paid so much. The perfect example of this high-risk, high-reward approach to money-making is heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua, who thanks to the sport has amassed a net worth of over £100 million. That's why today we thought we'd take a look at his lifestyle, both in and out of training camp, and take a look at some of his biggest paydays. Joshua's journey to the top of the mountain began humbly. Born on the 15th of October 1989 in Watford, the idea of boxing didn't once occur to him. Joshua spent a lot of his early youth living in Nigeria, where he attended boarding school. It wasn't to be a permanent move though. After his parents divorced when he was 12, the young AJ moved back to the UK, where he began to show early signs of the powerhouse athlete he would later become. At the age of 14, he broke his school's 100-metre sprint record with a time of 11.6 seconds. He discovered boxing at the age of 18 after his cousin suggested that he gave it a try. Now, most athletes would have had their start in the sport far earlier if they even wanted a chance at becoming a contender. We guess when you're 6'6" and 250 pounds, you can afford to relax just a few more years. After a few years of local competition, where he slowly climbed the ranks of the British amateur scene, Joshua was offered £50,000 to turn professional in 2010. He turned down the $50,000, his first time being offered any amount of money to compete. His reason for doing so was admirable. When asked why he refused that offer, he simply stated, "Turning down that £50,000 was easy. I didn't take up the sport for money, I want to win medals." Regardless of him rejecting this huge sum, a man so committed to his craft and success in it simply doesn't stay poor for long. His gamble eventually paid off. Just 2 years later, Joshua would capture a gold medal in the London 2012 Olympics. He'd now achieved all that he'd set out to in the amateur scene. Even more satisfying, by rejecting the previous £50,000 and simply waiting 2 years, Joshua would increase his debut winnings tenfold. That's right, for AJ's debut against relative unknown Emmanuel Leo, he would earn £500,000. Not bad for an effortless first round knockout. During this exciting time in the young boxer's career, he bought his mother an £175,000 flat in London that he grew up in and even moved in with her for a while. After a successful debut, Joshua would then embark on an impressive win streak, capturing world titles as well as the imagination of the British public. His first real fight came in the form of Dillian Whyte. Consequently, it would also be his first big payday. The fight was thrilling from beginning to end, with both British powerhouses having their moments, but it was Joshua who walked away with the 7th round KO win and a £3 million purse payout, not to mention a further £2 million from endorsement deals. His first mega fight would happen in 2017, facing the feared Vladimir Klitschko, who ruled the heavyweight division for most of the 2000s and 2010s. The fight took place in front of 90,000 people, and it certainly lived up to all expectations and then some. Although it wasn't the walk in the park that most of his previous fights were, AJ knocked out Vlad in the 11th round after being dropped for the first time as a professional. The £15 million he left the arena with that night may have just softened that blow just a little bit. It was around this time where Joshua's love of cars really began to take shape, in the form of a £93,000 Jaguar XJR as well as a Mercedes V8. After enjoying the fruits of his labour with these high-speed purchases, he gifted his first boxing coach a £95,000 BMW, thanking him for getting him to where he is today. In 2020, he purchased a custom Range Rover with his family crest and initials embroidered on the interior. It is widely publicised that many of his lavish possessions are actually gifts from his sponsors, although let's face it, who's going to turn down a free sports car, a luxury holiday or a private jet, all of which AJ has experienced from his endorsement deals. Despite all of this success, Joshua didn't forget his roots and remained humble and modest in both his personality and his spending habits. He has bought homes for his family members, an ex-girlfriend and other members of his team, always giving back to the people who got him to where he is, yet spending very little on himself. That's not to say he doesn't spend the big bucks once in a while. Whilst preparing for his rematch with Andy Ruiz Jr., who handed him his first loss in June of 2019, he rented out a huge mansion in North Carolina for himself and his family to enjoy. But even that was pocket change. After successfully avenging his loss to Ruiz, he walked away with over £50 million, and with his modest yet lavish lifestyle, he may become one of the richest boxers of all time. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If so, please be sure to like and subscribe. Also, let me know in the comment section